We had a few seconds of technical
Woo,
difficulty.
the
Okay.
matrix, the matrix.
Right.
And so I was just saying that, like everything that I suggest, I've tried myself. Every single thing. I've tried all the things, and I definitely have battled with bad body image and just not feeling sexy or attractive to anyone, and like how to harm that, And so you have to do it for yourself first before, you know. What what I'm really trying to say is that you need to go within, not without. A lot of people look to outward validation. They looking for it from men, from partners, from other women. They're looking for validation to say that I'm beautiful, I'm good, I'm worthy. And even those people who get that on a daily basis, you take your major modern celebrity who get praise all the time. If you talk to them, I guarantee you that 95% of them have body image issues. They're very insecure. They don't see themselves the way other people see them. They're struggling with how they feel about themselves and their body.
Yeah. I
And so that just reiterates that it has to come from within. We have to, as women and just human beings on period, start to validate the self, honor the self, love the self, appreciate the self. All the stuff that you're looking for other people to do, you need to be doing for yourself. And this is what generates a self-love energy to make you more attractive. This is what makes you more attractive. That inner confidence that doesn't have to be said or expressed is super sexy.
Yes. Oh, that's
Mhm.
spot on. It comes from within. It's like it's easy to hear that, and practicing it is a whole other conversation. Sitting here, even going
Yeah.
through the thought of saying, okay, I'm going to tell myself I love myself. Even while I'm not masturbating, I'm like, it does something. Just like in my heart and in my like gut chakra that's like very healing. Like I can feel this channel opening up, and it's making a lot available, to even just think about having more intimacy with the self,
Yeah.
intimacy that's not sexual intimacy, and intimacy that is, because like we need that validation. I'm hearing that too, like, oh my gosh, we need that validation. That's critical. Okay, so I want to hear,
It's critical.
yeah,
Mhm.
did you want to tie anything else onto that?
No.
All right. I want to talk about the importance of teaching our children to have agency and normalcy when it comes to sex. So, this is something I'm like, I know it's weird. I know it's awkward for some people. And there's so many people that are like, oh, I just wish that if my earlier experiences around this could have been more, more healing, less shameful, less, secretive, less afraid. How can we begin to heal that conversation, starting with the family unit, starting at home?
First of all, you got to be clear about how you feel about it. So what you feel about sex and sexuality, you're going to project onto your kid. So if you got an unhealthy idea about it, if you have an unhealthy relationship with your own personal sex and sexuality, you're going to pass that on to your kid. If you have a healthy sexual life and sexual um, relationship, you're going to pass that on to your kids. Now, what I can say for myself, like, as sexually liberated as I am, when it got time to talk to my kids, I was like, ooh, I got hella weird, yo. I got hella weird. I wasn't like my mother. I couldn't just come off the lip and start talking about stuff the way she would. She'd be like, this is happening to you. This is what's happening to your body. This is what boys don't want to do. And I was just like, okay, mom, I'm 13. I don't need to hear all this. Like, it was just too much. But her candid recant of all things sex made me not have sex 3 more years. I was like, that's too much. I don't want anything to do with that. And so what was good about that is that it let me know that when I was actually ready to have sex, I was ready
Oh, I don't know if it's my video or mine or yours that's kind of pausing right now, but um I could really hear you, speaking about. Oh, all right. We'll get you back on in a second. I'm sure it'll pop back up. I could really hear you speaking, though, to just like being ready and how the candid experience that you had growing up and speaking to your mom and having these conversations in such a direct manner really did pull you. Really did pull you into a space where you had the agency to not jump immediately into sex and sexuality. Like you knew more, you weren't curious. You had answers. And then I personally have the same experience where it's like, I had all the pamphlets, I had all the information, I had just scads of everything that I needed. And when it really came down to like, is this something that I want to do with someone? I was a very late bloomer, like in my actual adult sexual experiences. Like I knew everything, including how to do things for myself. And I didn't need anyone to like fill that space. It wasn't until I wanted someone. And I actually knew that I wanted it to be that one, not just anyone. So those are some of the things that I'm hearing where it's like, okay, like this is what's available, and just being very candid and very direct in these conversations.
So my mom was really able to do that, but I was not. I really had a hard time, and I fumbled all over the place. And I was so mad at myself that I could not give to my kid what I was able to receive. And I felt like, damn, well, I should be able to talk about this. Um, I had an open policy with my kids. I still have an open policy. I'm like, I'm the person, the safest person you can talk to. You can tell me anything. And then when they started telling me stuff, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're telling me stuff. And I was like, had to go to my room and cry and stuff. And it was horrible. But I want to normalize this for parents. Like it's a tough decision. It's a tough thing to hear that your child is having sexual feelings. Like the first time my daughter told me I kissed the boy and I tingled down there, I was like, I could not even handle it. I could not even handle it. I was just like, in her face, I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. And then I had to go in my room and cry. Like I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like, and so I had to get it together. I was like, oh my God, like I gotta be able to tell this girl stuff, information, so because she's ready for the world, honey, and I wasn't ready for her to be ready for the world. I wasn't ready for her to be ready for the world. But who am I? I'm not in charge of her sexual journey. I am not in charge of that. And that was something that I think most parents mess up, is they want to be in charge. They want to be in charge of their child's own sexuality. And they're like, you just gonna save yourself. You gonna wait till you get married. You're gonna give yourself to one person and that's it. And they don't want to talk about it no more. We can't do that. We can't do that. Like you said, and like my mama did, they gave us all the information, and then we had to make decisions on our own. But we made informed decisions when we made them.
Yes.
And it made all the difference in the world for how things pan out for me. Some people, their first sexual experience was horrific. Some people's first sexual experience was violent. That wasn't my reality. And it didn't happen for me that way. And so, how do I talk about that? The warning. So I talk a lot about my mom, but my dad was also very instrumental in my development. When I started budding, like, started showing breasts and thighs getting thick, and he was like, I don't think you know how people's looking at you. They looking at you differently. They seeing different things. I see my little girl, but a man sees something else. And he really gained me up for what men were going to say to me, how they was going to try to get me, right? The ways in which they was going to try to, get close to me or touch me or whatever. Like he gave me the framework for what men and boys were going to say to me early on. And so the first time I saw an erect penis, my daddy already told me, you gonna see this boy gonna tell you, if you don't do something to help him, he gonna die, right? So the first time I saw an erect penis and the boy was like, you gonna leave me like this? I'm gonna die. I was like, well, it was nice knowing you, and maybe I'll see you in the afterlife. And I took my ass home. But everybody didn't get that framework.
That's right.
Right? Everybody didn't get their daddy gassing them up and telling them what to prepare themselves for. I was mentally prepared for what I see, what I saw, and what they was gonna say.
Yeah.
And so I had to give that to my daughter. I was like, so, these things, people gonna say these things to you, and you gotta be careful. Now, the rebellious spirit in some children is like, once you give the framework to your child, and once you told me she was ready to have sex, I'm like, okay, so now we gotta go to Planned Parenthood. You're gonna have to start getting pap smears. You have to. She was like, I ain't doing all that. And so she defiantly started having sex before I could get her all what I call officially gamed up. But again, I'm not taking charge of her sexuality. So the freedom piece is when you put it out there, and then you gotta let them do what they're gonna do. And so early on, I talked about masturbation. Early on, I was like, you take care of your own needs. Don't look for it outside with, someone else. Even though that my son, he's now 14 and starting to have reactions and stuff like that. And so I didn't feel comfortable talking to him, but I had a man that I trust talk to him about masturbation etiquette, porn etiquette, like what to do because you're the only male in a house full of women, like what that looks like for you. Like I had to outsource someone to talk about the safety, what's appropriate, and proper parameters. Because I don't want to walk in on nothing. I don't want to walk into something. That's my personal comfort. But I'm also normalizing that this is normal, that this is natural, that this is natural to have reactions. It's natural to want to do something about it. Like I'm not taking that away from him. Again, I'm not going to police his sexual journey. I'm giving you agency, but I'm also being clear about what I feel comfortable with. And when I can't, I outsource. And so here's the thing about me. I could talk to anybody else's child about this, but I have a hard time talking to my own child about it. So when people come to me and be like, can you talk to my kid? I can go talk to their kid. And so know who your sexually free people are in the community and outsource when you can't do it.
That is excellent advice. I must say, just to have a safe space and an ear that you trust and that your child trusts can be a very powerful conduit. And I'm really loving the way that you're sharing and normalizing the fact that, like, this is not easy for parents. When I picked this topic, I was like, some people probably gonna kind of grit their teeth, like, do it really? But when that bridge comes, because it's coming, if you have kids, it's coming. How are you going to cross it? With what tools are you going to use to empower your children and yourself? And I love what you shared also about boundaries, masturbation etiquette, porn etiquette. And one of the things that I'm very present to is when you get that sexuality exists, there becomes a space for, like, when we're talking about moms, like moms needing to have sexual agency, like beyond the first 3 to 5 years. But when we get into a conversation where you can actually say, like, I need some space, I need these boundaries, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the why behind it, but getting the pleasure is a priority. Agency and like personal care are priorities. I'm hearing those things coming up in like what's available, and just being able to like have this conversation on that human level, because you made little humans and they're going to have that human experience.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so, again, like my kids know that I have sex. They've heard me having sex. One of them has walked in on me having sex, so they know that it's real. Yeah, it's not the most comfortable issue, but I was like, I've always told y'all to knock first, and then you just open the door. So I put the parameters in place, and you took a chance on yourself.